Ron gonna call you out.
That's right. You
Right
bet your
away.
ass. You
No,
bet your
that's not.
ass.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope.
Wrong. I mean, like he's getting life lessons from him right now. He's like talking to him.
Like he was talking to Tyler.
Yes.
He got.
Yeah. Like he was giving that advice to Tyler. I love that, dude. When I saw that, I was like, oh, we're in for a night. Is it okay? So we're in for a night. When I saw Coach Rothstein walk on over to Tyler Hero, give him a little pep talk, I'm like, Heater in for a night, dude. I mean, you've got Rothstein spreading the wisdom. Let's go out to the guest line right now and talk to the coach. The Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop over 1,500 Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. He's going to be doing post-game coverage now on the Bally Sports app with Eric Reed as they'll give you your local flash tonight. Coach, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Very good. Coach, what did you say to Tyler Hero? I saw you walk on over there, give him a little when he was sitting there with his parents there before he started warming on up. What was the pep talk like for Boy Wonder before Game 5?
Nothing really. I hadn't seen him in a while. I hadn't had a chance to congratulate him on the Sixth Man of the Year award. Said it was well deserved. He definitely earned it. Congratulate him for it, and I wished him luck. That was it.
Just brief and to the point. What they came out there with in Game 5, Coach. I mean, what an effort they had. What are those moments like? You know, they're from between Game 4 and Game 5. What's it like for Coach Spo adjusting, trying to figure things out? It obviously switches with getting Joel Embiid. Like when you're scrambling and you know you got a big swing game in this series. Like what is that break time like going from Game 4 to Game 5?
Seems like it takes forever. You know, you want it to happen as soon as possible. The day gets longer and longer. Your mind keeps going 24/7, and you hope you made the right decisions.
And with the Heat in this game, like what did you think was the big adjustment? Like Spo was talking about the just what a job Bam was doing on Joel Embiid in particular defensively. What did you see from Bam there, and just how do you think they did a better job on limiting what Joel was able to do?
I thought defensively from the beginning that we had tremendous energy and we played with great purpose. There were not a lot of mistakes. There were very few uncontested shots. The off-the-ball defense, guys were in the right spot, on time, ready to help. We were physical without fouling. And that can become a very difficult, touchy kind of thing. Sometimes the same things you do at home on the road are called a foul. And that sometimes causes you to back off. But I thought that we were really dialed in. And when you do that, you become a better offensive team. Almost every single time, without fail. It's very rare that you come out and you're really, really aggressive and you're contesting every possession, every movement. It's very rare that you're not better offensively than you.
Coach, it seems like it seems like, you know, two things here. It seems like for some reason defensive energy gives you offensive energy. Like when there's a bad defensive stand, that it almost seems like guys take it upon themselves and it's kind of one-on-one basketball on the other end. But when they're working on a string defensively, when they get to the other side, it just continues. They move the ball a lot. Guys are moving. It's not a lot of standstill basketball. So it's fun to watch. My question to you is this. It seems to me that watching that game, that the more bodies you can have to throw at Joel Embiid, and I mean Dwayne Dedman with his energy and his different style of energy, that those guys can create a nuisance to Joel. And watching that game and seeing the energy that Dedman plays with, he's definitely become somewhat of a deterrent, even though he fouls a lot.
I think I agree with you, and I think there's a lot of truth to the fact, to your statement about multiple bodies, because you wear them down.
Right.
You don't have to say, look, the guy's 7'1" or 2", he's 280. He's a mountain. And even though Bam's a big, strong guy, it's going to sound ridiculous. He's only 6'9".
Right.
Okay? And he's not 280. So as big and strong as Bam is, to try and wear this guy down and go at him mano a mano for 35, 36 to 40 minutes a night, that's a big task. That's going to take away from your offense. That's going to take away from your ability to handle and create offense. But when you have multiple guys that can wear on him, save you some of the wear and tear, no question that is a plus for our side. And it definitely, and yes, Dwayne Dedmon seems to make some silly fouls every now and then, but his minutes, he's usually very productive in his short minute stint. Be it 10 to 15 or 18 minutes a game, his numbers are usually very, very productive.
We're talking to the great Ron Rothstein here. You guys can catch him tonight on the Bally Sports app. Post-game coverage with Eric Reed, as they will have all your coverage of Game 6 tonight. Coach, Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, I mean, the stories and the production that they've given you this year has been incredible. When as a coach, when do you think Spo knew these guys were going to be ready for the postseason? Because they always say it changes. You know, they're going to have scatter reports on you. They're going to adjust to you. But, I mean, even with, Kyle going out, Gabe seems like he's taking the responsibility just fine. He's not scared defensively. And people were kind of calling out Max Strus at Game 4. He comes out and has that huge Game 5. When do you know that guys who are kind of getting their feet wet in the league are going to be ready for this stage?
Well, if you play guys enough during the regular season, and they perform well, you begin to trust them. And you never really know how someone who has never been in the playoffs before is going to react. But if the guy has been part of what you've done all year long, and he's done well, and he's helped you win, you not only owe it to him and the team, you owe it to yourself as a coach to trust what you've seen and what has happened, and trust all that preparation. Now, sometimes it doesn't work that way going forward into the playoffs, but more often than not, guys who have performed well all season long, they're in great shape, they're looking forward to this, and usually when they're on good teams, they're going to perform well. If they're on a team that just sneaks in and really doesn't have a chance, and that team is probably going to get eliminated in the first round, maybe in a sweep, maybe in 5 games. Occasionally you see a first-round series that goes 6 or 7, but that's not the norm. But I think those guys struggle more. But when you're on a good team, when you're part of a good team, and you've been a part of making that team good, there's a carryover. I think there's a definite carryover. Now, as you get deeper into the playoffs and the pressure mounts and the competition gets even stronger, there's no way of telling.
Right.
You just got to go out and do it and find out. And then maybe you have to make your adjustment.
One guy who is playoff tested, and I've loved everything about watching this year, is PJ Tucker, Coach. What have you liked the most? I guess getting to watch PJ now, 82 plus games and just into the playoffs. Was there something you learned about him that you didn't know maybe if he was on other teams? Like, what's impressed you the most about what PJ's brought to this team?
He's just such a tough, hard-nosed competitor. He's strong. He plays hard every night. He's a team-first guy. Just cares about winning. That's all he does. And he really thrives at the defensive end of the court. He looks forward to that challenge. Those kinds of guys are hard to find. You can make a case. You look at Milwaukee this year, okay, and the Milwaukee team that won the championship last year. And some people will say, I want to know why they didn't play as well this year. They didn't win as many games in the regular season. And why they had a great win last night. But why they've struggled so much so far in the playoffs in this series. But Boston's really good. But A lot of people will tell you, well, PJ Tucker's not there this year.
Right.
When you get a guy that's willing to do all the dirty work, doesn't complain and thrives on it, and yet can contribute at the offensive end as well. I mean, at one point, he was leading the league on corner threes for most of the season. So you're getting a big plus at both ends of the court, and you're just getting a solid pro who's been around. He's seen it all. He's done it all. He's won a championship. Well, he brought it all here, and he is produced. He's exactly what was advertised, maybe even more.
Well, you've seen it all and done it all too, Coach. We always appreciate the time. Catch Ron Rothstein tonight with Eric Reed on post-game coverage on the Bally Sports app. They got your local coverage tonight of Heat and Sixers, Game 6, which you, of course, can hear tonight on 790 The Ticket. Jonathan Zaslow, Tommy Tigg, they will get you going with your coverage starting today at 5:45 p.m. Coach, I always appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay. Always a pleasure. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, there you go.
I got to tell you,
Feel
I could talk to him. He's another guy I could talk to forever because he was on the coaching staff when I was in college, and that's when the bad boys were there. And it was to the point where if you watch the Detroit game, you knew when each guy was going to come in. You knew when Rodman was going to come in. You knew when Vinnie Johnson was going to come in. And I would have liked him to explain how unique this situation is when it could be anybody on the bench that comes in and is able to perform like those guys that are in normal rotations. That's a rare thing. And this organization and how they've done it over the years is just amazing.